Hello guys, welcome to another video, and in this video we are going to go over this for the CCNP security exam. If we go into, let's go ahead, not AWS, let's go ahead into here. So this is for the CCNP security for the SIMOS exam that I want to take in like 2 months, and we're going to go over the DMVPN. And this one is going to talk about hub and spoke to spoke because we're going over DMVPN phase version 2, and then DMVPN phase version 2. Um, the DMVPN configures a hub to spoke tunnel and also a spoke to spoke tunnel. We went over DMVPN phase version 1 where only the hub to spoke were only making the hub to spoke tunnels. But in this phase version 2 that we're going to configure is going to now add the spoke to spoke tunnel. So, and we are also going to configure IKE version 1, so we can exchange the keys so we can encrypt our traffic in those tunnels. So we are going to configure IKE version 1 with IPsec and DMVPN phase version 2. And let's go ahead to my topology. And as you can see, my topology, I have added an extra spoke right here, spoke number 4. And I'm keeping the other two right here. I'm just adding a new one, spoke number 4. So let's go and start with this configuration. So the first thing that I want to configure is going to be the hub. So we're going to go into config T, and the first thing that we want to do is to configure the crypto ISAKMP policy, so we can configure IKE version 1 crypto ISAKMP policy. This one is going to be policy 10, and from here we need to uh, tell that authentication that we're going to be using is a pre-share key. The encryption is going to be 3 days, and the hashing is going to be ND5, and the group number is going to be 2. Okay, so this is from the hub, right? So after we do that, um, we are done with the crypto, with configuring the policy, and this is for IKE version 1 phase 1 that I'm configuring right now. Then we need to go ahead and create the crypto ISAKMP or ISAKMP key, and on the key we're going to call it DMVPN key, and this key is going to be for the address of for this address. So that means that we're going to be using any um, IP address, because this, as you guys know, that the hub is going to be, I'm sorry, the hub is going to create a tunnel between spoke 3 and spoke 2 and spoke 4. So therefore, I want to use this key for all of them. And since I want to use it for all of them, I'm just going to add this thing that says that any of them, it's it's allowed to use this key, right? That's basically what I'm saying. Enter, and after that is configured, we need to configure crypto IPsec transform set, and we're going to call this T set. We are going to be using ESP AES 256, and then ESP SHA with HMAC, and the mode is going to be transport mode. Exit. After we do this, what we need to do is configure the crypto IPsec profile, right? Profile. Hmm. Crypto IPsec profile. Here it is, and we're going to be calling this the DMVPN profile. And what we need to do over here is we need to set the transform set, and then we need to attach the transform set to the DMVPN profile. Paste, there it is. So we are done configuring. As you can see, we configured the crypto ISAKMP policy, which is IKE version 1, phase 1. And we also configure that key that we're going to be using, which is also part of IKE version 1, phase 1. Then we started configuring the transform set, which is IKE version 1, phase 2 configuration. And then we added also the transform set. We attached that to the IPsec profile, which is part of the IKE version 1 phase 2 configuration. So we are done. So now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and create the tunnel, that MGRE tunnel, and then we need to attach that DMVPN profile into it. So let's go ahead and configure that interface tunnel. It's going to be tunnel 0. We're going to give it an IP address of 192.168.1.1, as you can see right here, right? And then after that, we need to configure no IP or no split, or is it no IP split horizon, ERGRP 10, IP NHRP, network ID 10, IP, and then the IP NHRP map multicast, or IP NHRP map multicast dynamic, and then IP NHRP. I think this is it because it's the hub, so we don't need to do any of those NHRP mapping. So after that, we need to go ahead and configure the tunnel source. So I don't forget, tunnel source is gigabit 00, right? It's this one right here where the NBMA address is. And then we need to go ahead and configure the tunnel mode GRE. It is a multi-point because we're going to, it is a multi-point because we are going to have multiple tunnels being built from this single interface. And then we need to add the tunnel mode protection, or the tunnel protection IPsec in the profile, and we need to go ahead and attach a profile that we created. And the profile has the transform set, which tells you how we want to protect our data. There we go. So that it is done. You can go ahead and exit out of here. And what I want to do a show run section. It's going to be the crypto section that I want to see. There we go. So what I want to do from here, since this is going to have to be configured for spoke 2, 3, and 4, I don't want to be typing it everything all over again. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy it. We're going to open LeafPad, and we are going to paste it right here. And what we're going to be doing is we are going to just go ahead and copy and paste it into each one of those spokes, right? And also I forgot to do something like always. I always forget to do the router EIGRP 10 network. And I'm doing 10 because I did no split horizon EIGRP 10. So you got to make sure that the autonomous number matches. Okay. Before we do that, let's go ahead and do no auto summary. And then we got to add the network of 1.1.1, which is my loopback address. And then the network of 192.168.1.0, which is the tunnel. There it is. So that is done. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and configure. First, before we configure, I'm going to be manually configuring the tunnels for each one of them because I want to practice these tunnels. I want to make sure that I know it by muscle memory, right? So since I want to do that, I don't want to copy and paste it. The only thing that I'm going to copy and paste is going to be IKE version 1 phase 1 and IKE version 1 phase 2 because it's going to be the same and I know how to configure those by muscle memory. There we go. Paste it. So I'm going to save it some time. Paste it. There we go. So we have configured IKE version 1, phase 1 and phase 2 for spoke 2, 3, and 4. So now exit, what we need to do is configure the tunnels. So tunnel 0, um, we need to give it an IP address for spoke 2, which is this one right here. The IP address is going to be 192.168.1.2, and then we're going to do IP NSRP network ID is going to be 10 IP NSRP. Let's see if I remember NSRP. It's not, and it's going to be IP NSRP map, and we want to add the IP address of the destination, which is going to be 192.168.1.1, and then we want to add the NBMA IP address of the hub, which is going to be this one right here, 192.1.10.1, and then IP NSRP. Let's see if I remember IP NSRP map multicast, and we need to tell it which one is the multicast, which is this one, and then IP NSRP NHS, and this one is to tell it, if you do a question mark, the NHS specify the next hop server, and the next hop server is the hub, so NHS, and we need to add right here the protocol IP address of the NHS, so that means that we need to add that tunnel IP address, that 168.1.1, and it knows how to get here because we created a map over here, right? It says that if you want to get to this address, you need to go to this NBMA address. Okay, that's good. Now we need to do the tunnel source, IKEv1. The tunnel mode, which is going to be GRE multipoint, and we are doing multipoint right here and not tunnel destination. It is because since we are going to be building a hub to spoke and a spoke to spokes, that means that we're going to be building multi-point or multi-ports tunnels, right? Great, so that is all good. Now the last step that you want to do is build a tunnel protection IPsec profile, and we need to attach that profile that we created, and that profile that we created was called DMVPN profile. There we go. And as you can see right now, the crypto ISAKMP went from off to being on. If you want to do verify those, you can see that the hub right here already has a crypto receive not IPsec. So if you do n show IP and SRP, you see that we have a dynamic map configure. If you do a show crypto ISAKMP SA, we have one built right now. It is active, and it is going to this destination 192.10.1.10.1, and the source is coming from 192.1.20.1. And if you do a show crypto IPsec SA, you can see it right here, the tunnels that's been created. So everything looks like it is working. So we have created a tunnel with spoke number 2. Now let's go ahead and do it for the same for spoke number 3. Interface tunnel. Or actually, I forgot to do something like that I always forget. Router, EIGRP 10. No, outer summary. Network 2.2.2.2. And then network 192.168.1.0. There we go. That should form a neighbor relationship with the hub. And you can see it right here as well. So that's good. Let's go ahead and go into spoke number 3 and configure the same IP address. It's going to be, oops, interface tunnel 0 IP address first 192.168.1.3 spoke 3, and from right here, after we do that, let's go ahead and do IP NSRP network ID 10 IP NSRP and NSRP map 192.168.1.1 192.192.1.10.1 IP NSRP multicast map multicast, and this one is to have the multicast. It's going to be the NBMA IP address, and then IP NSRP NSS, and the NHS 192.168.1.1. Then tunnel destination is going to be a not a destination. We don't configure that. That's only for for DMVPN phase version 1. For phase version 2, we do it another way. So let's go ahead and do the source, and then after we do that, I believe we do IP. Let me do mode GRE. See if I remember. Tunnel mode GRE multipoint. Okay, so we have configured. Let's verify this. We have configured the network ID. We did the map, multicast, the NHS, the next hop server. We did the source. We did the mode, and now we need to go ahead and create that tunnel protection IPsec profile, and it is that we can just get it from here, the MVPN profile, attach it right there. Good. Now let's go into router EIGRP 10 no auto summary network 3.3.3.3, and then network 192.168.1 up .1.0 255, and there it is. Good. Now we should have another IP NSRP. Now you can see that we have two. One is for 192.168.1.2, which is spoke number 2, and the other one is for 192.168.1.3, which is spoke number 3. Here's the NBMA address, and it was built dynamically, as you can see right here. And if we do it from over here, and that show IP NSRP, we can see that we only have one tunnel right now, and we only have one tunnel because we have not created a spoke-to-spoke tunnel. That's because we don't know about the other spokes. So if from this spoke we do it, let's do a trace route, and we're going to ping 192.168.1.3, which is spoke 3. You can see that it's sending it to the hub, and then after it sends it to the hub, it's only the first time that it sends it to the hub. So after it sends it to the hub, and the hub send it back to the spoke 3, now the spoke 2 knows where spoke 3 is, and now it should have built another tunnel, right? So if we do from the spoke 3 show IP and HRP, you can see now that we have built a tunnel with 192.168.1.1, which is the hub, and then we have configured another one 192.168.1.2, which is spoke number 2, and we also built our own one, which is 192.168.1.3, which is for our own tunnel, spoke number 3. And you can see right here that the flag says it is a router unique local. And for the other one, as you can see, there are dynamic tunnels. The only static one is the one to the hub, because the hub is the one that's after we create it with the hub, and then we find out where spoke number 2 is, we created a dynamic tunnel, so we don't need to manually configure it, right? And you can see the flags for the tunnel, spoke to spoke tunnel with spoke number 2. You can see that it says router implicit use next hop. Okay, so that's good. Now let's go ahead and configure spoke number 3 interface tunnel 0. The IP address 192.168.1.4. Let's go ahead and do IP NSRP network ID 10 IP NSRP map 192.168.1.1 192.1.10.1 IP NSRP NSS 192.168.1.1 IP NSRP map multicast, and the map multicast we need to add the NBMA IP address 192.192.1.10.1. Okay, so that is good. And then we need to specify the tunnel source gigabit 00, right? For spoke number 4, gigabit 00. And then we need to do a tunnel mode GRE multi-point. And then we do the tunnel protection IPsec profile. And the IPsec profile is DMVPN profile. That's what it's called. There you go, ISAKMP, which means that ISAKMP is basically IKE version 1. It went from off to on. And now let's do router ERP, autonomous system 10, no outer summary, network 4.4.4.4, and network 192.168.1.0.255. It should build a network relationship with the hub. There it is. Okay. And it built that network relationship with the hub. That's because we told that the multicast is not the multicast. We told that we created a static mapping right here to the hub, and since the hub is also advertising that on ERP, that's how I created this ERP neighbors. So if we go to the hub and do show IP ERP neighbors, we should have 3 neighbors, router spoke 4, spoke 3, and spoke 2. And now if we do show IP NSRP, which you see that we have 3 connection, but they were established dynamically. The unique flag is unique register used for next hop, and for next hop, and for next hop. You can see the NBMA IP address for each one of them, or actually right here, and the tunnel IP address for each one of them, or this one, and this one. So you can see that it is working. If you go to spoke 4, show IP NSRP, we only have one that we have established, and it is with the hub. But if we do a trace search, and let's go ahead and create a spoke to spoke connection with the hub. So let's go ahead and ping the spoke 3 twice. As you can see, the first one went through the hub, and the second one goes straight to the spoke because we have created a tunnel with router 3. And if we do a tracer out to spoke 2, you can see that the first packet went to the hub. The second one is going to go straight to spoke 2. And that's because we have created another tunnel with spoke number 2. Okay. And now if you also go into spoke 3, you can see the tunnels that we have built before we received that packet from spoke 3. But now if we do it again, we should have an extra one. So we have this extra one right here, which is spoke number 4. Okay. And if you want to see that IPsec is working, you can do a show crypto IPsec SA You can see that we have encapsulated 10 of them. And if we do a, for spoke 3, if we do a ping 192.168.1.4, repeat 100 times. And then if we do a show crypto IPsec SA, you can see that it increased to 104 and 103. That means that encapsulation is working. So IPsec, it is working correctly, just the way we wanted it. All right. And if we do re repeat 100 more times, if we do show the show IPsec, show crypto IPsec SA, you can see that it went up to 200 now. And because this is the one for the current peer, 192.1.40.1 on port 500, right? And if you go into the other one, let's see, into like current peer 20 or 192.1.20.1, which is spoke 2, you only have 4. But if we do a ping to that 1.2, which is spoke 2, it should increase to 100 more. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. There it is. It increased to 100 more because we ping 100 times. We send 100 packets to it. And if you go ahead and take a look at, let's go ahead. Yeah, I think that's it. This is spoke 3. The peer is spoke 4. That's what the one that we ping 200 times. Kind of gets a little bit messy to see what you have over here. This one is spoke 2. We ping 100 more times only, 100 times only. But if you want to see of the hub, 133 or 138, and if you ping that 100 times, you want to ping the hub, show crypto IPsec SA, and if you go ahead and take a look at the hub one, which I believe is the last one, there we go, it increased by 100. Okay, so that is working. And if you want to see the show crypto ISAKMP SA, ISAKMP SA is for IKE version 1 phase 1, and IPsec is for IKE version 1. See if we can look at it. For show crypto IPsec SA is for IKE version 1 phase 2, and show crypto ISAKMP SA is for IKE version 1 phase 1. And there it is. You can see we have 3 connections. 1 to, this is from spoke 3. 1 to spoke 4, right? Another one to the hub, and the other one to spoke 2. Okay, so as you can see, QM in idle, and it is active. You can see the connection ID, and you can see that it is working correctly. So another thing that you could do is you can do a show DMVPN detail. That gives you all the detail of the DMVPN. You can see right here, this is spoke 3. You can see we have a DMVPN connection with the hub, with spoke 2, and with ourselves, right? Spoke 3, ourselves, and this one with spoke 4. And you can see that you can see the NBMA address. You can see the tunnel IP address. You can see how long it's been up for, and you can see that this one was configured statically, this one was dynamically, and this one is the dynamically local the dynamic local tunnel, and this one was dynamic as well. Okay, guys. So this is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it served a lot. I hope it helped you understand more of the DMVPN phase version 2 and IKE version 1 phase 1 and phase 2 configuration. And we did a couple of show commands too, so you can see how it is working behind the scenes, right? So this is it for this video, guys. And if you guys enjoyed this video, why don't you just go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and also go ahead into Twitter if you have a Twitter account, and follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. And if you do not have a Twitter account, go ahead and create a Twitter account and then follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one, and I love you guys. Bye bye.